Welcome. 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 Welcome to this July 8th, 2025 YouTube live stream. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Welcome. Welcome to this July 8th, 2025 YouTube live stream here at Freedom News Now. We're talking breaking news. Police officer fired for breaking the law live on this July 8th, 2025 YouTube live stream. I hope everyone had a safe, a great, and excellent 4th of July, Independence Day in America. We may talk some about the Texas floods. I believe North Carolina had floods. The Hunt, Texas floods, and the seemed to be a big epic failure by the first responders and many of the police and fire. Why didn't they evacuate out all those cabins along the rivers? Why didn't they move all those people up off away up to higher ground, up off those along the river? They knew what was going on. The warnings were out. The emergency warnings were out the day before. I'm wondering why all the heroes there in Texas, all these people's heroes, no one worships their police like Texas does. Texas absolutely worships their law enforcement, military, first responders. Just like Uvalde police, where were they when it come to the 19 kids? Where were the Uvalde police for them? Kind of the same situation. They worship their police in Hunt, Texas, Kerrville, Texas. Where were they? Why weren't they evacuating all these kids out of these cabins? They had a full day in advance knowing that they were coming. These floods are commonplace there. They happen. They've got flood warning signs all over. Why weren't all these heroes out there? From what I understand, there are a lot of First Amendment auditors that were trying to blow the whistle on it and trying to get down there and do some evacs, and the police made them stand down. Just like Uvalde police, the police made the First Amendment auditors stand down from evacing from some of those camps. Look what happened. Just like Uvalde police made the parents stand down from saving their own kids in Uvalde. Makes me wonder when these people in Texas are going to learn. When are they going to understand these police? They're not there to help them. They're not there to save them. When are the people in Texas going to understand that they need to stop worshiping these police, law enforcement? They're not there to save you. You got to be responsible for yourself. And unfortunately, those kids, they can't be responsible for themselves, only to a certain extent. They're kids. That's why they have adults there overseeing the cabins. Where were they at? Some of them were up on high ground, not evacing. It's pretty bad. That's pretty tragic situation. Bab Trader, welcome. Big L, welcome. Talking police officer fired for breaking the law live. I have a feeling there may be some firings going to happen down in Texas after the search and rescue ops are finished after the Texas floods. There may be some firings. But some of it's, the responsibility on the people. You got to take responsibility for yourself. But when it's kids involved, that's why they have adults there, have chaperones there overseeing the cabin for emergency situations to make those decisions. Apparently, like that Camp Mystic, what is it? One of the largest Christian campgrounds along the Guadalupe River there in Texas. Well, they're saying they lost 27 plus at least that many. I have a feeling that Camp Mystic is never going to be sued straight to hell. They're never going to have another camp there. I would think Camp Mystic, for all the people that, they were responsible for getting to high ground, these parents dropped their kids off there at Camp Mystic, this Christian campground, trusting them and trusting the Lord and trusting God and entrusting these people to take care of their kids, get them to high ground before the floods show up. They didn't do it. It leads me to believe that Camp Mystic is probably going to be sued to hell. They're never going to be having hosting another Christian camp. BZ Watchdog, welcome. You need to get down there and do some live streams of the flooding area, BZ. You'd probably go viral, pick up a lot of new subscribers. Put like Texas floods live, Hunt, Texas, or wherever you're at. You'd probably get 1 million people on your live stream. Only thing is, you'd have to find a place and set up on a tripod that you got good signal. You probably wouldn't be able to move around a lot. You probably lose signal. You and Brownie will have to go check it out. I see you put your post out. You and Brownie were out cop watching. Daniel talking about Lahaina, yeah. And no, I'm not blaming any of the administration fault. All the warnings went out. From people on the ground in Texas, they're saying all the warnings went out. They were there. All the federal emergency warnings went out. Many of the people in the area that are from the area, they're aware there's flooding, there's signs all over. There shouldn't be any excuses to get up to higher ground when, Thursday morning, July 3rd, the federal emergency was putting out warnings. So you can't blame them. If they put out all the warnings, the feds put out the warnings. If anybody's to blame, it's the local, the city, the county. the municipal police departments, fire departments, the townships, maybe even the state, the county sheriff. Where were they at? The feds gave them the warnings. The feds handed out the warnings Thursday. Why weren't these police departments, the local sheriffs? Every police department in Texas is overfunded. There's hundreds and hundreds of too many, thousands of too many police officers. There's no shortage of cops in Texas to go around and get all these kids to high ground. I blame the local police department, the county sheriff. I don't blame the feds at all. They got the warning out. The feds were on point. They were extra on point. If anybody, you blame the county sheriff, you blame the fire departments, the local fire departments, not going to every single one of those campgrounds or contacting them and tell them to get their children up to high ground, away from the cabins down by the river. How hard would that have been? Would have been real easy. The feds gave them notification. The executive branch gave them notification, plenty of notification. There's a lot of people there from out of area that aren't familiar with flash flooding. There's probably a lot of people vacationing that weren't familiar with flash flooding, and the kids that are down there, they're expecting adults to make the right decision to save them. That's why they're kids. That's why there's adults there to protect them, to make the decisions for them, and they failed them. The campground people at the campgrounds failed them. The police, local police, county, they failed them. The local fire and first responders, they all failed them. And just like always, now they're coming in to clean up, to do search and rescue. They didn't save anybody, just like they never do. They just come in and do the police report. They come in and take a police report and fill it out and hand it over to the DA, to the prosecutor. Police don't stop no crime. They don't prevent any crimes from happening. They go show up after it happens. They don't save nobody. They didn't save any of those over 100 people that died in the floods. They didn't save any of them. They only went in after the fact, after all the damage was done, and then they want to go in and search and rescue and claim hero. If you were a real hero, you would have went in there and got them to high ground before it happened. You would have saved them. So I keep saying police, fire, first responders, they're not the heroes what they used to be. Many of them are foreigners, foreign born, they're illegals. They have no allegiance to America, no allegiance to America's culture or America's people, just like the U.S. military. Many of them are foreign born, foreigners, illegals. No allegiance to that flag, no allegiance to America. Their only allegiance is to that pension or to that badge. Daniel says, give the police a break. They were too busy eating donuts and checking their TikTok. Checking their cops of TikTok. Just like Uvalde police. I'm saying it's a massive failure in police response, just like the Uvalde police. It seems to be a major pattern here with Texas police failing these kids. They failed them on the Texas floods. They failed them in Uvalde. When are the people of Texas going to come to the realization, understand that these police are no longer the heroes of what they once thought they were? There's a new police force, a new military, a new fire department, first responders in America. foreign born, illegals, no allegiance to America, no allegiance to your culture, your country. They have allegiance to a foreign flag, but it doesn't stop them from these police forces around the country hiring them to weaponize them against you, the American citizen. They put the stand down order on arresting illegals. It's all about arresting the American citizen. That's where they get all their money from. They don't get any money from arresting illegals. Why do you think they got to fund it for $150 billion in Congress to deport 200 million illegals in America? America's population has got more illegals than naturalized citizens. You better be careful. You better be ready as an American citizen, because they may deport you. The illegals may deport you if you're outnumbered. If you want to be a real hero, if you want to stand on the right side of history, be a law-abiding hero, be a white hat, be a First Amendment auditor, cop watcher, gonzo journalist, guerrilla journalist, YouTube creator. You'll never fail to protect you'll never fail the safety of your community, like Uvalde police, like the Hunt, Texas police, Kerrville police, failing their community after getting numerous warnings from the federal government, numerous emergency warnings from the feds, the local, the municipal, the county police officers, first responders, fire departments failed the people, failed the community in Texas, Hunt, Texas. When are you people going to learn in Texas? But we're talking police officer fired for breaking the law. Live breaking news. July 8, 2025, Cleveland police officer fired after being charged with DUI, mishandling a service weapon. Wow, DUI while armed? We'll see if he gets let go with next to nothing like the Jackson police officer did just recently. I'm sure these judges, these Zio judges, will protect their Zog bots, their Zog hogs, their thin blue line members. A Cleveland police officer who pleaded no contest to a DUI charge earlier this year has been fired. Stephen Schmidtstein, North Richville, been charged with OUI, operating while impaired, speeding, carrying a firearm while under the influence, and improperly handling it. Wow, following a traffic stop. That's all he got? Schmidtstein, police officer Schmidtstein, was protected by Judge Schmeckelberg. Judge Schmeckelberg protected his fellow Zogbot, Zoghog, Schmidtstein, Officer Schmidtstein. Although the officer was fired. Wow. Sounds like a couple of IDFs right here in Cleveland, Ohio. Couple of IDF soldiers. Police officer Schmidtstein and Schmeckelberg, Judge Schmeckelberg, straight from Israel. What happened to Christian rule of law in America? Shouldn't it be the chief arbiter of justice, the chief judge, shouldn't the judge be a Christian, considering rule of law is based off of Christian rule of law in America? Our entire system, rule of law, is based off of Christian rule of law. How can you be a non-Christian judge? Handing out unequal sentences, unequal justice to Christians versus non-Christians. There is no fair and equal justice.
Okay, so we may get contact.
Yep, I'm right back here. Sir, could we have a talk for a minute? I know, sir. Can you explain to me why you're video or recording when there's no recording inside the building? Can you give it just a reasoning, sir? It's okay to record out here, but there's signs that say you can't go in there and do it. So can you tell me why you were violating that?
You don't want to talk to us at all? This is really pretty simple, man.
I can let you guys know I'm a citizen journalist.
Okay.
I'm gathering content for a story.
Okay.
Gathering a few pictures.
And that's fine. But we normally have procedures for when you come inside the building,
right,
and record stuff. You got to set up to come inside. Outside the building's fine.
Okay, I can remain outside the building.
Okay.
Yep, but we do need do you have your ID on you? The issue is when you're recording inside of visiting, it's against our rules, and now you're going to have to be banned from inside the building. So we do need your ID. Okay? Do you have that on you, sir? Is that a yes or?
I'm going to disengage from this conversation.
Okay. So
unless am I being detained?
No, you're not being detained.
Okay, so I'm free to go?
Yeah, you're free to go. So you don't want to give us your ID? I'll call this dispatch.
Sir, we really do need to glance at your ID just so we can update our paperwork to not allow you in visitation without permission.
You suspect me of committing a crime?
Well, you were actually violating some of the inmates' rights
right. Hey,
by taking.
Could I get your name, officer?
Sergeant Hamilton.
Sergeant Hamilton. Thank you, Sergeant Hamilton.
Now, could I get some cooperation from you and be able to see your ID? Because I'm cooperating with you, sir, and trying to work with you. I'm just asking for your ID.
All right. Thanks. See ya. Like I said, man, we're trying to be decent with you. It's just.
Could I get your name?
I'm sure you
Sergeant?
Yeah, my name's Sergeant Galt.
Thank you, Sergeant Galt.
Okay, can we have your name?
Do you suspect me of committing a crime?
No. At this point, we're just checking on you because it's obviously not normal to be filming the government complex, and it's a security issue. That's why we're asking. So, can you answer my question? Do you or do you not have your ID on you? Is that a yes or a no? I'll tell you what we can do, sir. If you're not going to answer my question, I can detain you.
Okay, at this point, if I'm not being detained, I'm just gonna be on my way.
So you're going to leave then? Is that what you're telling me?
Am I being detained or am I free to go? If I'm free to go, I'm gonna finish my photography work and be on my way.
Okay, and how long is that going to take? Because if it's longer than like the next 5 seconds, then you're going to be detained.
I'm going to be on my way here. I'm going to disengage from these guys. They said I'm not detained.
All right.
They're both armed. Both these officers are armed.
And the same thing goes for the front of the court complex, okay? You hear me, sir? You can't bring any type of recording device inside the building as well. Okay? Okay.
Okay, here's a nice Calhoun County.
You gotta like that. That was in Calhoun County, Battle Creek, Michigan. Tweedledee, Tweedledum, twin eggheads. Sergeants get owned by my twin brother, Jason Sane. I'm your host, Justin Sane, coming to you from the war room, straight from the underground. We might have to try to rise up from the underground, get out on some First Amendment audits out on the front lines. With BZ Watchdog. I have to make my way to Texas to go do some audits with BZ. Oh, it's too hot in Texas. It's hot enough. We're reporting from Michigan. It's hot enough up here. Yeah, they're jail guards, but they might be deputized. I'm not sure if they're in Michigan. They deputize. Some of the jail guards get deputized, so they may or may not be deputized. I don't know. And if they're not deputized, then they don't have arresting abilities. I'm guessing these two were probably deputized. Maybe not, though. I don't know. It might not have been. I'm going to have to rent a car to come down there to Texas. My vehicle right now, I'm having vehicle issues. I had a vehicle. I was going to buy a new vehicle in the spring and it fell. Someone bought it out from under me. It fell through. I was ready to go that day to go buy a new vehicle. And it fell through and I didn't get it. And then it's been hard to find a vehicle in Michigan. You know, you're trying to compete with all these illegals that are buying all these cars with federal money, with free government money. It's not just a grocery store I'm competing with illegals trying to get food. I went to the grocery the other day and there's this big real African woman there, had like 6, 7 African kids with her, and she's bragging about how she gets $3,000 a month on her EBT card and spends every single penny of it. Got her cupboards full of junk. Had like 4 or 5 shopping carts just packed full of anything you could think of, junk. Meanwhile, I'm struggling to fill up a small cart, get whatever I can get. Same way with the auto. You'd think here in Michigan with the auto industry so big, the big three, you'd be able to find a vehicle easily, but that isn't the case when you're competing against millions, tens of millions of illegals on top of the legal. That's the world we live in. I don't know if it's going to get any better because now they're talking about the whole mass deportation thing's not happening. They're talking about amnesty and mass amnesty potentially. And now they're talking about not deporting the farm workers, not deporting the restaurant workers. It's like, who's it? Oh, just the most dangerous, the worst of the worst they're talking about. They're going to get rid of, deport. Yeah, so I don't know. Now they're just saying the worst of the worst. What happened to? I say they need to end all of it, legal and illegal. End all of it. Then they need to take it a step further. All the females, American females that sleep with an illegal and get knocked up. If you want to be a female American, be a traitor to America, be a traitor to your people by getting knocked up, getting pregnant by an illegal, then you should have no problem going to Venezuela, Somalia, the Congo, and giving birth to that baby, forfeiting your U.S. citizenship. Love has no borders, right? Isn't that what they say? Love has no borders. These females that want to sell out America and get pregnant by an illegal, you can get deported with them. Not only is there an end to birthright citizenship, but if you're a female American citizen, you want to sleep with an illegal and get pregnant, you go with them. You get deported with them. You want to sell out your own people. You can't find an American citizen to sleep with. You got to sleep with an illegal from Somalia, from Haiti, from the Congo. What a great time to be alive. A lot of the pushback I get are from these wimpy little. A lot of the times I get a lot of pushback from the wimpy little Schmeckelsteins and Leibowitz and Witzenbergs and Anowitz and Baitstein and Cohen. So yeah, in California, they're going in there with, they got what, $150 billion now for Border Patrol, ICE agents. It's going to be real cold. Going to be a lot of ice in Chicago, LA. You know, it's all about following rule of law. We're all about following rule of law here at Freedom News now. And if rule of law says you're an illegal, you got to go. No sneaking across the border. No more sneaking across the border. You know, you want to be people of rule of law. Well, hey, you want to say First Amendment auditors aren't all about rule of law. We are here at Freedom News Now. If you're an illegal, you got to go. All right, BZ. I'll be keeping an eye out for some of your videos for you and Brownie going live. freedomnewsnow2@gmail.com. freedomnewsnow2@gmail.com. Send me an email, BZ. I was thinking about trying to come up on one of your live streams. See if you wanted to have me up on one of your live streams as a guest. I won't act as crazy as I do when I'm on my own live streams here. I'm more tempered down when I'm on someone else's live stream. I'm not gonna come on someone else's live stream and take over their stream or nothing. I'd be much more chill for the most part when I'm on other people's streams. Unless I gotta go just insane. Get some numbers up there. We got to start pulling some numbers. We got to break the matrix. Game over, matrix. Choo Choo says Latinos for ice. Yeah, Latinos, those Mexicans, they like their ice too. Nobody supports first responders, law enforcement, military, the good ones. No one supports them more than First Amendment auditors than us here at Freedom News Now. Unfortunately, they're few and far between. They're down to maybe less than 1% are good anymore. 75, 80% of the police force, the military, first responders, fire department in America, they're foreign born. They're illegals. They have no allegiance to America anymore. They have no allegiance to the American people or their culture, their community, their flag. Take a look around at every precinct, every police force around America. How many of them look like Americans? How many of them look like Native Americans like us here at Freedom News Now? Native American here at Freedom News Now. First Amendment auditor, Native American. A lot of these police, fire department, military now, they're not Native Americans. They're foreigners. They're illegals. They've got no allegiance to America, to our people, to our community, to our culture. You're led to believe they're heroes. They're not the same police officers, military they were 50 years ago or even 20 years ago. I don't recognize them. I don't recognize Rodriguez, Gonzalez, Shemowitz, Schmeckelstein, Witzberg, Leibowitz. I don't recognize these dual citizen as police officer. I want to see Christian police officers. What happened to all the Christian police officers? What happened to all the Christian military, the Christian judges, the Christian leaders? Where'd they all go? They all disappeared. They're gone. How can you have Christian rule of law with no Christians? That's why rule of law has been completely destroyed in America. It's finished. But we're here to bring it back. We're here for accountability and transparency, bringing it back. I'll check it out, BZ. Hillsboro, Texas. I'll take a look at it. A lot of people come on here talking about how people hate cops. Nobody once, that word never once came out of that's the only time it come out of my voice is when I read this troll's comment on here about not liking cops but love ICE. They're the only ones that keep saying that. I've never said that word once on here. Only once now because I said read his ignorant comment. Some ignorant people. They're not Native Americans. They're probably illegals. A lot of illegals coming. Mitten State Media. Welcome, Mitten State. Good to see you. Our culture is a culture without you in it. If you're a troll, you can go with your precious illegals. Go back to the Congo with your precious illegals. A lot of positive support. A lot of positive comments. Christ is King. A lot of positive comments. Christ is King. You know, it's been really good to see here in Michigan, international fellowship of Christians and Muslims have really been coming together, pushing back against the evil Zionists, the evil Zios. The international fellowship of Christians and Muslims have really been coming together. It's been great to see. They've been coming together, uniting together. It's really been great to see in Michigan, pushing back against the evil Zios. Yeah, I agree, Mitten State. Gomez just got deported back to Venezuela. You just got deported out of the chat. Sorry. Trolls can come in, but if you're an illegal, hey, it's all about rule of law here at Freedom News now. Stand on the right side of history. We're the white hats, the law-abiding heroes. If we find out you're an illegal in the chat, you'll get deported. D-Man, welcome. Daniel, welcome. Mitten State, nice. Mitten State's a native. Fellow Native American. First Amendment auditors, Native Americans. Trying to take our country back. We're not going on no trail of tears here at Freedom News now. Taking our culture back. As a Native American here at Freedom News now. Chicago, nice. Alligator Alcatraz, D-Man. We'll see how that goes, if it gets flooded or not. Hopefully they can keep it above water. Those Texas floods, though, we were talking some about the Texas flooding. That was the federal emergency or the feds issued warnings in time. The executive branch and the feds sent out all the warnings, but the local police and fire, first responders, the city, municipal, township, the county, they all failed the people. They didn't get them to high ground. They didn't heed the warnings. Get these children to high ground. Get them out of the cabins down by the river, down by the Guadalupe. Why did the police, why did 9/11 fail them? The only ones that didn't fail them was the federal government, the executive branch, Trump. He was the only one that was there for him, and the rest of them, the local, state, county, municipal, township, police, fire, first responders, all failed them in Texas. Yeah, sure, they show up after the fact for search and rescue. They could have saved every one of them. It was fully preventable. They should have saved every single one of them. But these so-called fake heroes couldn't save one. Now it's over 100 lives lost as a result of a massive failure from the local, state, township, municipal, police, fire, first responders in that area, Hunt, Texas, Kerrville, Texas. The leaders failed all those kids, just like Uvalde. Police failed all the kids in Uvalde. Keep giving them all your money. Keep giving them all your hard-earned money, calling them heroes, patting them on the back. It's no different anywhere else around the country. The police don't show up until the damage is done, until the crime has occurred. They show up to take a police report. Like the cowards that they are, they don't show up to stop no crime. They show up after the crime's committed and do a police report and keep the parents back from taking care of their kids. Like Uvalde police. I'm thinking this Hunt, Texas, Kerrville, Texas police is going to go down in history right up there with Uvalde police. Even worse. Even worse than Uvalde police. all the kids, all the people in this community, they completely failed when they know floods, flash floodings happen, are known to happen, and they completely failed the people in the community. I want accountability. I want transparency. I want to see somebody fired. I want to see someone locked up, put in cuffs, sitting in a cold steel cell behind bars for failing to protect all these kids at Camp Mystic and these other Christian campgrounds. They failed these kids. It wasn't the feds. The feds were there. They gave proper notice. It was the local, state, county, municipal. They failed them. They didn't get them to high ground. Don't tell me you didn't have enough time to do it either. That's just another big lie to cover your own A. For failing the community of Hunt, Texas. Failing the community of Kerrville, Texas. Flower, welcome. Mint State, welcome. What a great time to be alive. I'm so thankful, so grateful for each and every one of you. You know, look out for yourself. You can't rely on police. They've got no duty to protect any individual person. They protect the state. They're there to protect the state. Speaking of which, Cleveland police officer fired after being arrested for DUI while armed. Breaking news, July 8, 2025. Not a First Amendment auditor, not a guerrilla journalist, a police officer out of Cleveland, Ohio. DUI gets fired. Police officer Steven Schmidt-Stein arrested and fired. Driving while impaired, while armed, and mishandling a firearm. Not a First Amendment auditor. Not a cop watcher. Not a YouTube creator. A police officer. Okay. All the way north in Ohio, Ohio State Police Trooper Jose Alcantara. That's not an Ohio name. Jose Alcantara Rodriguez. Classic example of all the most of the police officers, 75% or more police in America are illegals. They're foreign born. They've got no allegiance to America or our culture, our flag, our people. Ohio State Highway Patrol Trooper Jose Alcantara Rodriguez, all the way up in Ohio. Rodriguez? What the fuck? It's over. It's finished. Good luck getting any fair and equal justice out of this illegal up here, Ohio State Highway Patrol. So this illegal Jose Rodriguez pulled over this Israeli police officer, Schmidt-Stein. So we got an illegal pulling over an Israeli, a foreigner, Schmidt-Stein. Schmidt-Stein got fired. Police officer Schmidt-Stein got fired after getting pulled over by the illegal Jose Rodriguez, the Ohio Highway State Trooper. You can't make this up. Unbelievable. America is finished. It's over. All we can do is try to continue to protect it, try to defend it. Try to protect your culture, protect your rights, protect your community, protect your people. That's all you can do. Rise up. Yeah, that's right, Mitten State. They got no duty to protect any individual or their rights. Their only duty is to protect the state. Mitten State's had some dealt with the Michigan State Police before. Michigan State Police, he's definitely dealt with their corruption before. He fully knows about Michigan State Police corruption. I saw the video. Mitten State media was exposing these militarized cops in full fatigues, and then they want to come after him for recording and documenting it, exposing it for all to see. They didn't like it, so they came after Mitten State, tried to silence him. That's what they try to do to First Amendment auditors, cop watchers. They want to silence your free speech. And then they say they're all about protecting and defending your civil rights, your constitutional rights, as they're violating it every second, every minute, every hour, every day of the week under the guise of the thin blue line. I'm a Native American. Thanks, Josh. Let's OTVO. Thanks for that membership. Let's OTVO. What's up? I see you. And hi from South Dakota. Hello. D-Man says double standards. What a great time to be alive. Police officer fired for breaking the law alive. Stay with us. We got more cops. More cops. Stay with us.
He keeps walking up on the lady.
No.
He keeps interfering with
This
the
poor
person that
person.
ain't doing nothing to nobody. Come on. That's not right on any level.
Is this normal behavior?
No, it is not.
It's scary. I'm the one that called. Yeah.
Well, Brooker's called too.
Well, he told me to call.
So, listen, something needs to happen. He cannot be threatening people. He cannot be trying to harass people that
He
ain't
get
nothing
these
wrong.
out and try to spray people.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's keeping all of them.
Sounded a face like this. And he's talking in a headset.
Yeah.
And he's threatening people with his face. He can't be hearing
Look at these Karens. Look at these Karens calling the cops over a First Amendment protected activity.
Oh my God.
These are a bunch of Karens here.
Want to step over here?
Sure.
What's going on?
I didn't call the cops. That's because that was my First Amendment right.
Yeah, but why are you taking them? Why are you talking to them?
They interfered with me. I'm over here doing my work, my business. I'm a journalist, citizen journalist, gathering content for a story. Citizen journalist. Get the light to my back. Citizen journalist gathering content for a story, documenting the matters of public interest. And the guy in the orange car and the blue, he comes and starts threatening me, getting in my face, and
Okay,
he doesn't know what he's talking
why
about.
you had the mates out on them?
Because he's threatening me, coming and getting in my face, threatening to, thinking he's going to attack me. I've been attacked before out here. I'm not threatening anybody.
Okay.
I'm just standing here with it. right to defend myself. Documented matters of public interest. Homeless population's real big here,
And they said that you were in his face talking to him, and
they can say what they want. They got proof of any of that? I've got video of
I'm
everything
not
I'm
asking
doing.
for proof. I'm just saying that. What's your response to that?
Just documented matters of public interest. I'm a citizen journalist gathering content for a story.
Document evidence of public interest. So the public.
Could I get your name and badge number first? Sorry.
043.
What's your name?
Morgan.
Morgan. Thanks, Officer Morgan. Appreciate it. Get one of your superiors out here. They know who I am. They know, see me out here documenting all the time.
Who
I've
are
got
you?
hundreds of videos.
Who are you?
I don't wish to identify myself.
You just asked me who my name or badge number
You're a public
is. and now
servant. I'm not.
You said my supervisor know who you are, so
Well,
how
I'll give you my first name. I'll give you my first name. My first name is Justin. These guys are creating a big scene out of nothing.
Everybody else walking up on the lady on her car.
Me also. Yeah, like you.
So listen, that's a problem.
See what I mean? Is this legal?
You said you want a supervisor?
And
Did you say that?
Well, if you don't handle this correctly, you might want to contact the supervisor and ask them who you're dealing with out here.
Why do I need to contact my supervisor?
Well, I'm just not sure how you're going to handle this situation with these guys. They're spewing out a lot of lies.
One, you need to stay away separate from them.
I
so
am.
that you
I'm not on there. I'm staying out here. See this right here? That's public property. I'm staying on public property. I'm not going to escalate. They come up on me. They got this mob mentality at form, just like.
Crystal, welcome. Says stand up for your rights. Thank you, Crystal. Appreciate you. Daryl, welcome. Mitten State Media, welcome. D-Man, welcome. Daniel, welcome. Scotty, welcome. Don't forget to hit that subscribe if you like these live streams. We're reporting from the underground here. We're going to try to rise up from the underground, get out on the front lines for some First Amendment audits, cop watch. If you like those live First Amendment audits. Sandra, hello from Detroit. We're coming to you from Michigan. We're not far from Detroit. Thanks for joining us here on this YouTube live stream. Future, welcome. D-Man says New Hampshire. That's right, Crystal. Says we have rights. We need to stand up for them. Got to exercise those rights. Rights are like muscles. Got to exercise those rights, or you lose those rights. So yeah, this video here was at Kroger in Jackson, Michigan. Got this ignorant black cop showed up from the city of Jackson, Michigan. You want to talk about an ignorant cop? They're some of the most dangerous. Cops are dangerous, but black cops oftentimes are the most dangerous just for the fact of their pure ignorance. This cop right here, Morgan, Officer Morgan, he got fully exposed as a ignorant cop. It's like you can't interact with ignorant cops. They don't know any. All they know is force, violence, and coercion. Force, violence, and coercion. That's all they know. They don't know anything else. They don't have the ability to rationalize. They don't have critical thinking skills. I could go on further. I could go on much further detail on why they're not as qualified. Well, we'll see how it goes with these floods, Texas floods. We'll keep an eye on the Texas flood situation. I also heard a report going on out there. I don't know if there's any truth to it at all, but people are talking about tunnels underneath the Guadalupe because of all that shale, all that hard riverbed bottom that's perfect for tunneling underneath of. And they're talking about trafficking and cartels moving underneath the Guadalupe. This is just hearsay out there, I heard. And what better way to get rid of rats in tunnels than to flood them out? So I don't know if there were tunnels going underneath those dry riverbeds of Guadalupe. They've been dry for so long. They got tunnels under them with the cartels funneling bodies through there and other contraband or what. And, couldn't think of a better way to get rid of those tunnels and those cartel members down in those tunnels and to flood them out. But unfortunately, the people didn't heed the advice. They told them to get out. They gave them plenty of warning. The federal government gave them plenty of warning to get to high ground, to get out, flash floods. But unfortunately, the local police, the local fire departments, the county, city, state, township, municipal police and fire, first responders failed their community, completely failed these kids at Camp Mystic, these Christian kids, completely failed this community in Texas, Hunt, Texas, Kerrville, Texas, by not getting them to high ground, by not heeding the warnings that they were given the day before on July 3rd. There was plenty of warnings. They failed to heed the warnings from the federal government, and look what happened. Much of this goes squarely on the backs of the local city, county, state police, fire, first responders failed the people of Texas. Don't worry, the people of Texas will still call them their heroes. They'll still give them all their hard-earned money. How many of those police officers, fire department, first responders in Hunt, Texas, a population of 95% white Christian, how many of their police, fire, first responders are foreigners, foreign-born, illegals, non-Christian? Probably 75, 85, 95%. Gee, I wonder why they never warned them. Wonder why they didn't give them forewarning like they should have done. I think it's pretty easy to identify why. Just like the Brian Kohlberger case in Idaho. Everyone is familiar with the Brian Kohlberger, the Jewish man, Israeli Kohlberger, that ended 4 white Christians in the Christian college in Idaho. Something that the media, the police, the judges, the prosecutors, nobody talked about one time. The fact that Brian Kohlberger, Jewish Israeli Brian Kohlberger, ended 4 Christians in a Christian school, Christian community. Nobody talked about that when they wanted to talk about intent. They just said, he's just a weird guy. He might have got turned down one time at a club by him. He might have got turned down one time by him, or got turned down his advances towards him, so he just went crazy. It had nothing to do with the fact that Brian Kohlberger was Jewish and these were 4 white Christians. Nothing to do with that. No, nothing to do with that. That didn't play in the intent at all. If you ask me, I'd say that's the number one intent. Why did they hide that from us? Why did the media, they still have never talked about it. All these big investigators out there, all these high profile investigators, all these police officers that 75% of them have no allegiance to America or our culture, our community, our people, foreign born illegals. Gee, I can't figure out why they couldn't put 2 and 2 together and see it equals 4. That'd be too easy for them. Tunnel rats. D-Man says tunnel rats. That's what I'm wondering. I heard there were tunnels. I was seeing over X people talking about there were tunnels under there because that's perfect ground. That shale that dig tunnels under. I don't know. That could be conspiracy, but what better way to get out the rats and flood them out, flood them holes, flood them tunnels. And right there in that part of Texas is a company called Rainmaker that Peter Thiel, a Palantir, I believe, gave him $100,000. The big government-funded CIA Palantir, CIA Palantir, they're helping fund this big Rainmaker, this private company right there in that same area in Texas. That's what they do. They fly drones up into the atmosphere and create rain. They fly drones up in there and disperse a substance into the atmosphere and make these massive rain clouds, massive snow clouds. One can't help but wonder if this was some sort of weather modification. I mean, it's right there, right where the private company Rainmaker is, right near Austin. I think that's right where they're located. They've got plenty of video and website, I believe, discussing what they're doing. They're open about it, flying drones up into these clouds and dispersing some sort of substance to create these massive rain clouds, massive snow clouds. On a podcaster by the name of Sean Ryan was interviewing one of them, one of the founders of Rainmaker. So I can't help but think they're partly responsible for these massive rain clouds, making them much bigger than what they would have normally been to flood out these tunnels, these cartel tunnels underneath the riverbed. Unfortunately, the people didn't heed the warnings that were put out by the feds. The feds put out the warnings before this massive weather modification technique flooded out the riverbed and all the tunnels below it, cartel tunnels below it. You know, just like when we struck Iran, we forewarned them to get all their people out before we struck them, before the military hit their plants. Just like Iran warned Qatar before they hit them, warned the people to get out. Same thing here with these floods. The feds warned all the people to get out before they modified the rain clouds, weather modded them, flooded out those tunnels underneath the Guadalupe River the cartels are using. It makes some sense. I don't know. I don't know if there's any fact in that or not. There's people talking about it on social media. It sounds like there could be some truth to it. It sounds like it could be worth investigating further. Something to think about. What do you guys think? Leave your comments. If anything, we can all agree on that the local state, local city, township, municipal, local county, police, fire, first responders completely failed the Texas flood victims, completely failed them because they had forewarning from the feds. The feds gave them plenty of emergency warning, gave them a full day plus an advance warning. Once again, just like the Uvalde police failed Texas community, just like the Uvalde police completely failed the Texas community, same goes with the Hall, Texas. They had to bring in the Coast Guard, more feds to save them. Because the community, local, city, municipal, township, city, county, police, fire, first responders completely failed the community. That's what happens when 75%, 85% of your police and fire first responders are foreign born. They're illegals. They're non-American citizens. They've got no allegiance to America, no allegiance to your culture, no allegiance to your community or your people. Well, Hunt, Texas is finding out. Kerrville, Texas is just finding out that these police and military fire of yesteryear, they're not the same of yesteryear. They're not the Christians of yesteryear, the same. They're not your people. Their allegiance is to a foreign flag, to a foreign nation. They're foreign born. They're illegals. It's no surprise why they show up after the fact for search and rescue, for cleanup. It's no surprise why they weren't there to get them to high ground to save them before all this happened, when they had plenty of notification beforehand from the federal government, gave them plenty of early warning to get to high ground, get to safe ground, and they failed to yield or heed that advice. Failed their community. It's sad. It's tragic. It just shows why you can't count on the police, military, fire, first responders to save you, to protect you. They have no duty to protect any individual. Their only duty is to protect the state. You got to protect yourself, protect your culture, protect your people. All right, Mint State Media, appreciate you. Dale says they were doing the cloud work. I believe it. Well, our thoughts here at Freedom News Now, all our thoughts, and will be out for all those victims of the tragic victims of the Texas floods, the tragedy that occurred in Texas, to all those victims of the Texas flood, something that could have been prevented. There were plenty of warning systems, warnings advised by the feds, plenty of warnings out there days in advance. And I'm with you. I feel for you. I've been trying to spread the word, trying to blow the whistle for years now about how the police, the fire, the first responders, they're not there to help you, to save you. They're there to protect the state. And unfortunately, these people in Hunt, Texas, Kerrville, Texas, found out the hard way. When their supposed trusted law enforcement, police, first responders, fire departments completely failed their community, didn't get them to high ground, completely failed these kids, just like the Uvalde police failed the kids in Uvalde. I'm with you. I'm thinking about you. Maybe you'll start watching more of our videos. Subscribe to our channel. Help support our content. Consider contributing with a donation, a super chat donation. Becoming a member. Joining this channel for the truth, for the real heroes. The First Amendment auditors, the cop watchers, the guerrilla journalists, social media influencers. Standing on the right side of history. Providing you the early warning systems and then taking action. Not standing down like the Texas police. We're with you. We're thinking about you. Think about it. Never forget. Remember. Always remember. Never forget the fact the local, township, city, state, county, police, fire, first responders failed you in Hunt, Texas, failed you in Kerrville, Texas, failed to get you to high ground when they had plenty of days of early warning system, when they knew it was coming. They failed you. Think about it. Never better time than now to support all your favorite First Amendment auditors, cop watchers, citizen journalists, guerrilla journalists, the real heroes on the front line. Stand up, stand by. We're the white hats. We're the law-abiding heroes, protecting and defending your civil rights, your constitutional rights. When the police, when law enforcement fail to do so. What a great time to be alive. I salute all you freedom fighters. I salute all you patriots in here standing on the right side of history. Never a better time than now to join the First Amendment audit community, cop watch community. We're going to wrap this video up. That's all for now. Don't forget to like and subscribe for police accountability, civil rights education, YouTube videos. And I'll see you on the next one.